Alright guys, we are back here again, this time looking at a very controversial album. 1986's Turbo. Big time controversy. And I'll go ahead and preface it by saying I actually dig this album. Right? And production is really killer on this. Feels big, like a big 80s album, but I will say I do have some issues though as we go along here. And I'll just jump right into it here. Before I do though, this would also be Dave Holland on drums last album, and he's really good drumming on here. They've kind of got a real big like Eric Carr from Kiss sound to it, like real big popping 80s drum sound to it. It's really cool. Kind of changed his drum sound on this one. But anyways, we'll hop right in here with the first track, the big hit off here, Turbo Lover. And this is another one of those hits that I do dig. It's cool. Really classic Priest, you know. You hear that one on the radio pretty frequently, but it's a really kick-ass song. Like, I do dig that one for sure. Then we've got one of my favorites, one of the heavier ones off this album. Locked In. And that on this one here, you got a really killer riff, and the vocals are definitely heavier. You get like the more aggressive scream, kind of like, you know, from Defenders of the Faith. It's kind of got that kind of thing going on with it. And I'll also talk about real quick to the synthesizers on this album. That was a big controversy, as it was with like Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time. But really for me, like, that's not really an issue. You know, you can, I mean, come on, there's prog metal bands and like you use some synthesizers and stuff like that. So that wasn't really an issue, but I get it, I guess, being it scared people off from it. But that wasn't really the issue here. I'll get to kind of on some of these songs what the issue was. But yeah, Locked In, one of my favorite tracks off here. Really fast-paced track off here. Then we've got Private Property, another really good track. This whole first side is pretty good for the most part. And Private Property is cool. It's got kind of some of these lyrics on this album are a little corny, a little bit, but like I can still handle it on some of them here. Private Property, that one's not that corny, and it's got kind of a real hooky chorus, but real like 80s kind of glam style chorus. But I still do like that song. Really good song. Then we've got one that's, this one's pretty damn corny, but this is one of those ones I like. Parental Guidance, really, really hooky chorus. Again, a lot of the stuff on here, even the ones that I'm not the biggest fan of, are really hooky. But this one I do really like. I like Parental Guidance. And I especially like near the end of the track where they kind of do a callback to, you know, like you've got another thing coming, like with Our Life, I'm Gonna Live It, or One Life, I'm Gonna Live It Up. They kind of changed the lyrics there a little bit, but really cool callback there. Then we've got one of my least favorites off here, that Rock You All Around the World. This one is one that's got really kind of corny lyrics, and is one that definitely, you know, I've got some problems with. The lyrics really corny. This is like one of the, probably the glamiest one off here. Even though Parental Guidance is up there with that too, but I still do like that one a fair amount. But this one, I'm not, and the pre-chorus is kind of cool. And, you know, again, it's hooky and all, but I'm not really a big fan of that. Priest was going, I guess they were trying to fit in with like the MTV time at this time. Another change in direction of the band here. Then on side two, more than likely the best song off here. One of my favorite Priest songs, actually, Out in the Cold. That thing is beautiful. And the vocals are just, they're haunting in a way, like during the verses from Rob, and man, absolutely killer song. One of my favorite Priest songs, period. Then we've got one that kind of, from the title, I was like, oh, here comes another glammy one. Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy Days. But, you know, and it is a little glammy, but not as much as these others. But man, what a badass song. That chorus is like, oh, really good stuff. The vocals on that thing are really, really good. Definitely dig that track. Then we've got the second last one here, Hot for Love. That's pretty good. Not kind of a filler one. Not a bad one by any means. Then we've got, a really good closer here, Reckless. That's another one of probably the heavier tracks off this album. And, you know, that one, good way to end the album. You know, started off a little heavier and then ended a little heavier. But, you know, overall, I would say the hate this album gets, I get where it's coming from, but I really do dig this album. You know, I'm not going to say it's my favorite Priest album. I'm not going to say it's my least favorite, you know, but like, I do like the album. It's definitely got some highlights. It's got some, you got to kind of you know, there are a couple on here, like I said, that are just a little glammy and a little corny. But I've got a guilty pleasure for like one or two of those. But even then, I'm not going to pop those on too much. Um, but the ones like Locked In and Out in the Cold and Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy Days, Reckless, even like the title track, Turbo Lover, really good. But yeah, not the best album. I'm not really sure why Dave Holland left the band, or if he got kicked out or what happened, but I mean, I could see it being because of the way this was, the direction that the band was about to start, or the way they thought they were going to take. I mean, the next album we're going to be looking at is going to be, they went kind of back to the heaviness there, at least with a lot of the tracks off there, and I'll be getting into that next time. It will be 1989's Ram It Down. We're almost into the 90s Priest stuff. We're flying through this thing, even though they got, what, 18 albums? But we're powering through. Anyways, guys, I appreciate it, and please check out the next video coming up for Ram It Down. Thanks.